Hello, today we are going to install multimedia codecs, so that's audio and video encoders and decoders in Fedora Linux 40. I have just installed Fedora Linux 40, the KD edition. The movie Big Buck Bunny on YouTube works okay. And it's using the video codec AV1. And for sound, it's using the Opus codec. I have downloaded the video in MP4 format. I'm trying to play it. There's a video player installed by default, which is named Dragon Player, which is not able to play the file. Let's look at the type of file. So we're going to use the command line file. So it says it's MP4 container. Does not really say what video codec, what audio codec. Let's try to install some better known video players than the default Dragon player, such as VLC, SM Player, M Player, or MPV. So update the metadata information about RPM packages available in the official RPM repositories, and also upgrade all of the installed RPM packages. The command line for that it's a dnf update. So let's start searching for VLC. So there's VLC available in the list of packages in the repositories which are enabled by default. Let's install this VLC. Okay, let's try to play the video. VLC. And it works correctly. The codec is MPEG-4 AVC H264, which is one of the encumbered by patents multimedia codecs. The sound is MPEG AAC. Let's try to install SM Player. It's available. Let's install it. It will install MPV as its dependency because SM Player is a graphical user interface application, which is a wrapper over the graphical user interface application MPV. So let's try first with MPV. It works okay. Let's see with SM Player. Also works okay. So at least H264 works correctly. And now it started working in Dragon Player. So a dependency, an RPM package that's needed by Dragon Player was not installed by default. But after I have installed VLC and SM Player and MPV, one of the RPMs which provide video playback functionality for this video container, video codec and audio codec has been installed, and now the video player Dragon Player works correctly. So the default H.264 format, which is, I don't know, 422 or 420, works correctly out of the box in Fedora 40 using just the default enabled RPM packages. Repositories, you need to install some RPM packages. So you need to install some extra packages, but you do not need any extra package repositories. But then for probably 4:4:4 version of H.264, the one that's not covered by OpenSysco, or who knows, maybe it's covered right now, or for other encumbered file formats, so in this case H.265 video codec, this you cannot play without adding additional RPM repositories to your operating system. So Dragon Player will not play this thing. VLC no, it says it doesn't know how to play back the video codec H.265. SM Player doesn't know because MPV doesn't know. No video codec for hevc. At this point, we will need to add the additional RPM package repository. So let's search on the internet. So I searched on Google for Fedora video codecs, and the results are not that great. The third one is from discussion.fedoraproject.org, which is an instance where a video file which uses the video codec H.264, but this 4:4:4 profile is not supported by Fedora out of the box. And in here we get to a listing of the RPM packages that are enabled on the computers of people participating in this conversation. In here we find this thing, which is RPM Fusion. Let's see what package RPM repositories I have enabled by default. So I have this one, Fedora. I have Fedora Cisco Open H.264, and I have updates. So I need to also add the ones from RPM Fusion. So RPM Fusion is a third-party RPM package repository, so not from the first party, from the Fedora project. Does support the operating system Fedora 40, previous versions of Fedora, and also Red Hat Enterprise Linux and Red Hat Enterprise Linux clones. They have two different repositories, or they have four. In here I can see free updates, non-free updates. Free is open source software, but which Fedora will not ship because of legal issues. And non-free, which is not really open source. Just click on one of the following files. Let's actually not click, let's do it from the command line. On Fedora, we default to use the OpenH264 library, so you need the repository to be explicitly enabled. It's enabled. So we'll probably need this command line. Okay, so this command line uses bash evaluation in here in order to get the version of Fedora, and also in here. So a single command line works with various versions of Fedora. Okay, so it's installing two RPM packages, RPM Fusion Free Release 40 No Arch RPM, and RPM Fusion Non-Free Release 40 No Arch RPM. So 40 means Fedora 40. This will add the repositories RPM Fusion Free and RPM Fusion Non-Free. Let's install the RPM packages. And now if we list the repositories, instead of 3, Fedora, Cisco Open, H264 and updates, now there's 4 extra, similar to the output on this web page. Okay, so I have enabled the repositories. Now let's see what packages are available in these repositories. In the homepage, rpmfusion.org, says browse available packages for Fedora 40. What is this thing? So apart from audio and video codecs, there are games, the emulators, Game Boy, Classic, Super Nintendo, Tandy Coco, Sega Dreamcast. Okay. A mule for the eDonkey network. Hardware acceleration for Intel. And at sound and video, we have media players. In the non-free repository. We have the fonts Larrabee. More games, especially emulator, Super Nintendo, SNES, Commodore 264, Sega, Mega Drive. Archiving tools. So there's nothing interesting for me in the list of non-free, in the non-free repository. Not all of the packages are grouped, so available in groups. If we go straight to the letter F, we will find FFmpeg, which is what we're after. Additional plugins for VLC. So let's try to install the FFmpeg framework and see if we can start playing the H.265 video. So DNF, search FFmpeg. There's FFmpeg free, FFmpeg thumbnailer, and FFmpeg. Okay, let's just install FFmpeg. And also the thumbnailer. Because we see that the H.265 video doesn't have a thumbnail in the default file manager in KDE Plasma, which is Dolphin. And in here, we are told that installing FFmpeg RPM package from the RPM Fusion package repository is too intrusive. We'll uninstall many packages from the default Fedora RPM repositories. And we will need an additional command line parameter, which is this one, allow erasing. Like this. The packages with names ending in -3 are from Fedora RPM repositories, whereas FFmpeg package is from RPM Fusion. So all of the RPM packages related to FFmpeg, but with -3 in name, will be uninstalled because they're superseded by this FFmpeg RPM from RPM Fusion. Yes, continue. It's okay. Okay, let's see if... So I pressed F5 to refresh the listing of the directory ~videos in the Dolphin file manager. And now we have a thumbnail for Big Buck Bunny. Let's double click, open Scene Dragon Player correctly. Let's open with MPV. Media player works correctly. the fonts look interesting in the OSD. SM player works correctly. Let's play it one more time and pause it. So it's using libav format, which is part of FFmpeg. The video stream is hevc, which is H265. The audio I'm not sure what's the audio codec. In SM Player, we can hide the main menu, main toolbar, and this seek bar with video compact mode Control-C. And the shortcuts are play pause with the pause key, with the space key on the keyboard, and then scroll OSD on screen display levels with the letter O key on the keyboard. And we can scroll through the video with the left arrow key, up arrow key, down arrow key, left arrow key, and page up and page down. So we have installed the FFmpeg library, the full version of it with all of the video and audio codecs and container formats, even if they're legally questionable for the Fedora Linux operating system from a third party, not from the Fedora project RPM repository, which is named RPM Fusion. And we've also installed the package FFmpeg thumbnailers such that we have thumbnails in the graphical user interface file managers. Let's see VLC. VLC also works okay. So this is it. The most often installed packages from the RPM Fusion repository are these ones related to video codec playback and installing the complete FFmpeg library, which then enables all of the consumers of the FFmpeg library, maybe some KD video and audio player applications, VLC, MPV, SM player, etc., to display videos correctly. Thank you.